Up in the frostbitten mountains, there's a village that's basically in a boss fight with an S-rank Fenrir, and they're getting absolutely farmed. These poor souls have spent their last dime hiring a top-tier adventurer squad to slay the beast. Enter Flaming Dragon Fong, a party of absolute chads, each with their own OP abilities. Well, except for Kurt, who's currently cosplaying as a professional background character, hiding behind a wall to avoid getting smoked. The moment the Fenrir spawns in, its speed runs straight for Kurt, absolutely yeeting him across the battlefield like it's trying to get a world record in human frisbee. While Kurt is busy questioning his life choices, the rest of the squad locks in for combat. Gol Nova, their fearless leader, tells Bandana to immobilize the beast, so she whips out her wires and wraps up the Fenrir like it's a holiday gift. But Fenrir isn't having it, and absolutely slams her into a wall. Luckily, they've got a healer on deck, so she gets right back up, no cooldowns needed. This gives Gol Nova a golden opportunity. He leaps up, ignites his magic sword, and turns the Fenrir into a burning pile of regret. The villagers, still in broke mode, scrape together what they can to throw a party. But Gol Nova takes one bite of their food and nearly rage quits life. Instead, he demands that Kurt cook him a proper meal. Bandana chimes in, saying it's their last chance to enjoy Kurt's cooking, which makes Kurt pause. Why? Because nobody told him he was getting booted from the squad. Confused, Kurt asks if he did something wrong. Gol Nova gives him the corporate, "It's not you, it's us" speech, explaining that Kurt's main contribution is doing chores, and since parties are limited to 4 people, they're replacing him with an actual combat mage. Kurt tries to plead his case, but Gol Nova gives him a swift kick to the gut and tells him to take the L. The next day, Kurt is out, solo queuing life with 0 coins and no plan. He eventually stumbles into Samala City, down to his last few bucks, and figures he might as well try his luck at a job agency. The receptionist, Herschel, greets him and asks if he's hiring or job hunting. Kurt explains that he got kicked from his S-rank party, which makes her do a double take. Even if he was just their glorified maid, that party name on his resume is still clout. She reassures him that this boosts his chances of employment, and Kurt feels a bit of hope again. Now it's time for the aptitude test. In this world, people get blessed with talents ranked from G tier, straight up useless, to triple S tier, broken OP. If Kurt's lucky, he might finally unlock his main character potential. Spoiler, he's not lucky. Every combat skill on his sheet is ranked G tier. Man can barely hold a sword without looking like he's about to drop it on his own foot. His battle dreams shatter instantly. Herschel tells him not to lose hope. Maybe he's got talent in a trade like blacksmithing or alchemy. Problem is, the guy who tests for those skills is out for the week. Kurt panics. Bro doesn't have a week. He's broke now. Seeing his desperation, Herschel asks him to lift a sandbag to test his physical strength. As soon as he touches it, he gets a weird feeling, like it just drained a bit of his mana. Still, he lifts it with no issue. Herschel figures he's strong enough for construction work and suggests he head to Take-On, where they're hiring workers to repair city walls. She even writes him a recommendation. Kurt, grateful as heck, doesn't waste any time. He rolls up to the construction site, and the manager, who's desperate for workers, hires him on the spot. His job? Mix cement and patch up the walls. His pay? Depends on how much he gets done. The manager warns him that if he slacks, he's getting paid in exposure. Kurt notices nobody mentions mana infusion, which is weird because it makes structures way sturdier. But he figures it's one of those unspoken rules and just rolls with it. Then he hears that the daily quota is just half a barrel of cement, and he's like, that's it? Determined to flex, he goes all out. When the manager comes back, he nearly has a heart attack. Kurt has casually rebuilt an entire section of the wall. He even apologizes, saying he could have done more, but he ran out of cement. Manager, EXE has stopped working. Realizing Kurt is a walking cheat code, the manager asks how long he plans to stay. Kurt says he only needs the job for a week. The manager, low-key relieved, tells him to take the rest of the day off and hands him a small bag of money. Even that small payout is more than Kurt ever made with his old party. For the next few days, Kurt keeps rebuilding walls at Godspeed, until one day, the manager tells him he's fired. Kurt is confused until the manager explains that this job was meant to help poor people earn money. But since Kurt is one-man army and G the entire project, there's no work left for anyone else. Kurt completely misreads the situation and assumes he got canned for being a bad worker. So he sulks back to the job agency, where Herschel is low-key worried about him. While they're talking, they hear a commotion. A girl is trying to hire a miner but refuses to pay up front, so no one's taking the job. Herschel tells her straight up that nobody would be dumb enough to work under those conditions. But the girl is desperate. If she doesn't pay her taxes by the end of the week, she's losing her mind. Kurt, still in job hunting mode, steps up and volunteers. The girl, Yalisha, side-eyes him, saying she was hoping for a buff dwarf, not a twig. But since she's broke, she begrudgingly agrees. They head to her campsite, where Kurt realizes there's only one tent. Yalisha casually suggests they share, but Kurt nopes out, saying he wouldn't be able to sleep next to a cute girl. Yalisha, thinking he's just trying to butter her up, gets annoyed. But when she realizes he was being 100% serious, she hands him a boiled potato for dinner. Kurt, who hasn't had a meal prepared for him in forever, appreciates it more than he probably should. That night, Yalisha intentionally goes to bed in her underwear to see if Kurt is a creep. But when he immediately dips outside to sleep under a tree, she realizes he's actually a decent dude. The next morning, she spots Kurt fixing her jacket and starts wondering if he's really built for mining. But it's too late to back out now. When Kurt asks where she planned to dig, she admits she was just gonna dig at random and hope for the best. Kurt facepalms. He then casually finds a rock full of gems in 5 minutes. Yalisha is shook. If she sells these, she can finally pay off her debt. But Kurt stops her. Raw gems are worth less than magic crystals. Problem: only 10 people in the entire kingdom can make magic crystals. Kurt, without a word, casually makes one in front of her. Yalisha has stopped working. She takes the crystals to sell and gets 500 gold, which is insane money. Meanwhile, Herschel gets a bank transfer of Kurt's wages, 200 gold, way more than expected. As she processes this, she trips over the mana sandbags, which triggers a realization. Those bags only get heavier if you have ridiculous mana reserves. Kurt had struggled to move them earlier. Kurt might just be cracked beyond belief. Things kick off with the flaming dragon fangs getting absolutely cooked by some jumbo-sized forest gremlin. Galnova's already taking LS and begging for a heal, but Marlefus is fresh out of juice. He's barely holding the line against an angry sentient tree when the squad starts arguing about who's got fire magic. Plot twist: the new kid apparently does, but is now playing dumb. Bandana, lurking outside the mess, mentally hits the "I'm out" button. Meanwhile, Kurt gets hit with a surprise job offer that sounds mad fancy. Head honcho of the Royal Magic Tech Lab, noble perks included. Elisha casually drops that the crystal evaluator she brought in is literally a royal mage on the side. Kurt knows it's a big deal gig but hard passes, since he's not vibing with a job that puts him above others. Plus, he's got a soft spot for the fangs, even if they're falling apart. He shifts the convo back to the crystal sale, wondering if it covered taxes. Elisha finessed a good deal, skimmed a bit off the top for fees, and dumped the rest into his account. Kurt says she didn't have to, but she claims she'd feel bad otherwise. Either way, she's already planning her next mining op and expects Kurt to be her ride or die. Kurt's hyped, especially since he just found a promising mineral vein. Boss lady side-eyes him for not sleeping enough. A plot twist: he got a whole 6 hours and even built a house before passing out. Kurt, thinking she's mad he overslept, vows to grind harder to make up for it. Later, Kurt shows Elisha a new mining spot. She's not seeing the hype until he explains it's all about mountain structure. Textbook Minecraft logic. He warns her not to dig deeper than 50 meters since he plans to tunnel around a crystal-rich zone. Hours fly by, and Elisha hits pay dirt with a topaz that's worth solid coin, especially since Kurt will magic enhance it for free. She feels a little spark for her miner boy, but buries the thought fast. Following the tunnel trail, she stumbles upon a full-on mineshaft Kurt whipped up like it's light work. No lanterns needed thanks to glowing moss, and the tunnel's so big it makes her question physics. Kurt rolls up, bummed he mostly found junk. Turns out, the junk is straight-up mithril, which he says is so common back home it's used as yard trash. Alicia's jaw hits bedrock when he drops that bomb. When asked what he was looking for, Kurt casually drops orichalcum, the mythical metal of gods. And yeah, apparently that's a thing in this mountain. The catch? You gotta dig stupid deep. Elisha realizes the dude mined halfway to the Earth's core in 8 hours, patched the hole, and casually moved on. Tunnels so massive it links cities. 2 days later, they're back in Samala, and Elisha starts charging merchant tolls to cover taxes. Big W. Out of nowhere, Bandana shows up and says she rage quit the fangs. Flashback time. Galnova dined and dashed cause he hated the food, asked for some of Kurt's smoked meat, and found out the squad leader already gobbled it. He straight up sent Bandana to drag Kurt back. Even said roughing him up was fine if he refused to cook. Bandana, not having it, swiped the teleport crystal and dipped. After dodging some guards hunting Galnova, Bandana reflects that Marlefus got lucky with a church call-up, and the squad's basically in shambles. She shrugs it off and pretends she just got dismissed, not wanting Kurt dragged into the dumpster fire. Kurt feels bad he can't help them now. Galnova did give him his start. Switching gears, Bandana plugs him into a new gig. She knows someone at a workshop who's low-key in crisis. There are only 15 elite 8-leer meisters in the country, basically high-status engineers who cook up magic gear and medicine, and one of them is apparently in deep trouble. Kurt agrees to help, humbled to be considered useful. He zooms over and finds a normal-looking house marked, "Eat Liar Ophelia." A suspiciously young elf girl greets him, but it turns out she's just the assistant. Kurt's here on Bandana's wreck, so she yanks him inside like it's an emergency. First task? Kitchen cleanup. The smell is apocalyptic, but he goes beast mode, throws on an apron, and nukes the grime in 30 minutes flat. Trying to find what's next, he tracks down the assistant. When he finally locates the next room, things go weird. He walks in on a girl wearing practically nothing. He's flustered, but notices a curse mark on her stomach. She lets him examine it, and he realizes she's so far gone from the curse, she can't even feel it anymore. Her stomach growls like a boss battle warning, so he whips up something light. Back in the kitchen, he faceplants over a stool, cause he's still flustered from the whole accidental nudity moment. Meanwhile, Alicia is wheeling and dealing with her royal friend Mimiko. Mimiko drops a bomb. The mithril and orichalcum haul is worth 50,000 gold. But there's a catch. If people find out Kurt exists, there's a high chance he gets kidnapped or worse. The kid's a walking gold mine and somehow still flying under the radar. Alicia admits she wants to keep him grounded by making him an Eat-Liar Meister. Better to put a leash on a wild card than let him go rogue. She even wants to work as his bodyguard, but has no clue how to get him to say yes. Kurt's still blissfully unaware of how cracked he actually is. Meanwhile, Kurt finishes the food just as Ophelia, the actual boss, rolls in. She's shocked by how spotless the kitchen is. He explains he made food for the cursed girl, and Ophelia gives him hush money to keep it quiet and asks him to return tomorrow. Once Kurt bounces, Ophelia regrets letting anyone near the girl, worried the curse could spread or worsen. She brings her the food, tells her not to open the curtains, and tries to fix her janky pajamas. When the girl's stomach growls again, Ophelia checks the food for poison. The girl, completely over it, says she'd be fine even if it was poisoned. The curse already wrecked her. Nothing else can really top that. Still, she trusts the food because she somehow senses Kurt's good vibes. First spoonful in, and she's emotionally wrecked by how good it tastes. Just as Ophelia starts relaxing, the girl collapses, making it look like the porridge was a death sentence. Ophelia freaks out, ready to commit murder in Kurt's name. But plot twist, the girl gets up. Not only is she fine, the curse is gone. Somewhere in a shadowy room, a robed dude is big mad the curse got yeeted. His boss tells him to forget trying again. Plan B is on deck. Lady Lislate will die, one way or another. Back at Mimiko's place, Ophelia drops in, and Alicia is there too. Turns out, the cursed girl is actually Lislate, the third princess, daughter of the king and an Eastern empress. Her whole existence is diplomatic peace treaty incarnate. The curse? Likely a political hit job. Now that it's broken, Alicia and Mimiko are shook. Mimiko pledges full loyalty, swearing she'd help uncover whoever cast it. Meanwhile, Lise is just grateful Kurt saved her, leaving everyone reeling at how low-key overpowered this kid really is. Mimiko, out of nowhere, drops a lore bomb and says whoever hexed the truth probably has a curse buddy on speed dial and VIP access through the palace's magical firewall. She's got 3 suspects lined up like it's an episode of magical true crime. We've got Sanova, the muscle-brained general, Pope Tristan, the holy drip king of the Poland church, and Isidora, the kingdom's third queen, who probably collects curses like NFTs. Ophelia and Lise agree Tristan and Isidora could play hack the barrier, but Sanova? Doesn't vibe. Alicia hits back with actually energy and says Sanova's BFFs with the Thieves Guild, a bunch of stealth goblins with PhDs in breaking magical security. With no way to CSI the curse trail, Ophelia's like, fine, we're baiting the villain. Apparently, when a royal teen hits 15, it's time for their Pokemon evolution arc, aka a year of training. She plans to fake a training workshop and yeet in a fake top-tier Meister with a level so high it sounds like a keyboard smash. 8 liar. So the plan? Get Lee's training under a bootleg Meister so the baddies come sniffing around, looking for tea on her mentor. Joke's on them. The guy's faker than influencer skincare routines. Mimiko catches the strategy fast. If the ops dig too deep, they'll faceplant into their own trap. Only issue: they need someone with enough flex to pretend to be 8 liar tier. Alicia pulls out a magical Uno reverse and whips out Kurt's enchanted glow rock like she's got the Infinity Stone hookup. Ophelia's jaw hits the floor when she finds out Kurt's got more stacked skills than a glitchy RPG character. Lise is starry-eyed. Meanwhile, Kurt rolls up to Ophelia's place the next day ready to work, but finds the shop deader than his social life. He runs into Michelle, who drops the bomb, Ophelia dipped right after he visited. No tasks, no chores, only sadness. Kurt goes full NPC depression arc until his stomach sounds the dinner bell. Off to the nearest inn he goes, where he eavesdrops on some adventurers rage quitting a mission because their pack mule ditched them. Kurt's neurons fire. Opportunity detected. He offers himself up for the job. The party sizes him up like a soggy breadstick and doubts he can lift anything heavier than a bad decision. But Kurt, ever the himbo king, flexes hard by lifting both the samurai and the knight in armor like he's in a protein powder commercial. The tavern crowd? Shocked and slightly concerned. Men just got the job and the audience applause. Boom. Kurt's now the squad's portable luggage carrier. They hit the road, and Kurt vows not to embarrass himself. Spoiler. He immediately steps on a slime and gets body blocked by gelatin. Cena, the ranger, tells him to stab its glowy bit. Kurt instead shanks himself. Not ideal. Cena finishes the job and mentally files Kurt under high-maintenance loot box. He apologizes, expecting a roast session, but the adventurers are like, bro, relax. You're just here for backpack duties. We got the stabby parts. Kurt, who's used to toxic teammates, short circuits and starts crying like someone just gave him an emotional support party. Wipes tears, respawns mentally, moves forward. They get to the cave, and Cena tosses some bioluminescent salad around to light the place up. Kurt sniffs out goblin doo-doo like a fantasy truffle pig. The adventurers casually say they can handle 1 or 2 goblins, but if more show up, it's time to run. Yexi. Of course, a goblin appears, gets deleted, but pulls a raid horn before going down. Soon, the dungeon echoes with angry goblin screeches, and the group realizes they've been flanked like low-ranked chess pieces. Kurt, somehow, finds a secret door. Game changer? Almost. As he opens it, Cena pulls the reverse Uno and locks him in. Plot twist. The rest of the team is staying behind to stall the goblin horde. Kurt wants to jump back in like a bad QuickTime event, but Cena shuts that down. He can't even 1v1 a slime. Brutal, but fair. Now it's just him and Cena trying not to die, but surprise. They enter a room and find themselves nose-to-nose with iron dragon golems. You know, casual. Back at the inn, Elisha and Lise pull up looking for Kurt, but find only empty space and suspicious silence. Suddenly, Vandana pops out with main character timing and tells them Kurt dipped to a cave up north with a squad. Suspicious? Definitely. Trap vibes? Sky high. Elisha goes anyway because plot. Lise insists on joining and Elisha, after sighing enough to create wind magic, agrees. Lise then proceeds to Sherlock her way forward using her nose. Yeah, homegirl activates sniff mode and starts wall huffing like a bloodhound with a crush. Elisha is not okay. Anyway, they hear combat up ahead and power boost to rescue mode. Elisha drops in like magical Batman and saves the 2 adventurers mid-fight, earning at least 3 friendship points. Meanwhile, Cena is deep in a spiral over the Iron Dragon golems, which are just chilling menacingly. She thinks her party's sacrifice was for nothing. Big sad. Kurt, however, enters anime mode. Calmly walks up to the golems like he's about to drop a mixtape, dodges their attacks like a dodgeball pro, and then obliterates their metal tails. One golem tries to swipe back, but he counter-smacks its head off like a Beyblade. Cena watches all this, internally malfunctioning. She's like, what kind of Minecraft PvP nonsense did I just witness? And Kurt casually says he used to mine these things back home, like it's a side hobby. Elisha busts in right after the beatdown and Cena, still rebooting, starts explaining how Kurt just soloed the Iron Squad with a butter knife. Elisha doubts, but shrugs it off in favor of plot progression. She tells Kurt that the adventurers are alive. Yay. And also, congrats, he's invited to a new fake 8-liar workshop. Ophelia hyped him up hard, and now Elisha wants him on board. Kurt's down, but hesitates. Loyalty to the adventurer squad, and all that. The adventurers, being certified wholesome now, tell him to go secure that bag. Elisha, being a queen, offers jobs to them too. Everybody wins, but before Kurt can punch in, they gotta evaluate his skills. Off he goes to the temp agency. Mimiko rolls up from the capital like HR in fantasy form. Post-evaluation, Kurt heads out for party time. Meanwhile, Elisha and Mimiko talk behind the scenes. Mimiko admits she told Kurt he's got B-rank skills in cooking, cleaning, mining, etc. But actually, man's skills are SS tier across the board. Literal cheat code. She warns Elisha, if word gets out, things could go boom real fast. Squads zooming through the countryside on turbo horsepower wheels, courtesy of Elisha pulling rank with the Atelier VIP pass. Teleporting? Nah, dream on. Lieselot says their destination's so remote even Magic Rocks gave up trying. Literal fantasy version of no service here. The town used to be Demon Wall Central, basically a last-ditch fortress to keep the monster spawn from crash landing the kingdom. And now? It's the hot new location for their arts and crafts death trap, aka a shiny new atelier. Cons is still in denial like me. Qualified. LOL okay. But Ulysses is betting the whole farm on them being the chosen ones. Meanwhile, Cena's emotionally buffering in silence because she's not vibing with her bro or Danzo. But she keeps her mouth shut. Girls loyal like that. Then Ken asks, so who's the big boss we're working for? And Ulysses short circuits. Because, plot twist, the supposed atelier meister is faker than influencer giveaways. She dodges the question like a politician, and Cena starts side-eyeing her so hard it creates a passive-aggressive aura. Eventually, they roll up to this city, and Kurt's brain gets jump-scared. It's that place, his old workplace where he got fired for being too good. Yep, apparently, excellence is a crime now. He notes the place looks the same, and assumes they're building stuff using the slow and steady disappointment method. Ulysses drags them to the atelier's location and, surprise, it's just dirt. Everyone's staring like, this is it. Ulysses says don't worry, the building's coming soon. No trust in random NPC builders, so she turns to Kurt. Hey, you're Minecraft Steve IRL. Wanna build this whole thing? Kurt's like, chill lady, I build cottages, not castles. But then goes, actually, give me 3 days. And everyone's jaw detaches from their face. Ulysses is like, no pressure, pinky promise, and tells him to list his shopping cart. Kurt's wishlist includes amethyst, sapphire, griffin feathers, basically the magical equivalent of buying caviar to make instant noodles. Still, she greenlights the order like a boss. Scene is throwing major side-eye again. Why does a dude need dragon glitter to build a shack? Ulysses clocks her sulking but skips the confrontation. She marches the squad to a hotel, while Kurt is left to vibe with bricks. Later, she summons the squad for a serious talk. Before she can go full exposition, Cena hits the Uno reverse. Y'all know Kurt soloed Iron Dragons like it was a warm-up set? Now she wants answers. Ulysses reveals her NPC backstory. Used to be a royal adventurer. Then she drops the mic. Lisa? Yeah, she's a secret princess. Crowd. EXE stops responding. Everyone's spiraling. Cena starts tinfoil hatting. Wait, does that make Kurt royalty too? Ulysses. Nah. She did a deep dive into every file like a nosy Google Doc stalker and found nothing. Guy's stats are cracked. SSS rank everything except combat. The twist? He has no idea. Man thinks he's a B-rank background character. So they told him he's mid-tier to keep him from going Ultra Instinct by accident. Ulysses' secret plan? Make him Atelier Meister without letting him in on it. Scene is having an ethical meltdown, but Ulysses stands firm. If I told him he's OP, he'd just laugh and go back to cleaning gutters. She's trying to keep him safe from the real monsters, exploiters, and clout chasers. Cena claps back, accusing Ulysses of doing exactly that. Cons diffuses the drama, and Lisa adds her sad backstory. Kurt cured her dark magic disease with soup. Because of course he did. There's also an assassin group out for her, hence why they're chilling in discount nowhere. They want to use this quiet town as bait for the bad guys, but they don't want to drop that mental burden on Cinnamon Roll Kurt. Ulysses asks the gang to help protect him and zip their lips. Danzo and Khan say less. Scene is still on the fence. It's been 24 hours, not a Disney montage. But hearing Ulysses has known Kurt for only 6 days and still did all this? Cena short circuits, says she needs space. She walks back to the plot of land and finds. Kurt has already finished the base of the building in like an hour, while others struggle to assemble IKEA chairs in that time. Kurt's like, it's no biggie. Everyone in my village is faster. Cena has an existential crisis. She asks if he's okay being everyone's labor machine, and Kurt says it makes him happy. Before this, he was booted from a party for being useless. Now he feels needed. Cena's heart combusts. She gets it now. He's literally too good for this world. Meanwhile, Danzo meets up with a mysterious informant, and we all get suspicious. Is betrayal loading? No, he's investigating the previous dungeon fiasco. Turns out a guy named Bibinoke, yes, real name, unfortunately, is behind it. The man's a walking identity fraud who sets up scam quests for cash. He tried to send Team Sakura to the Shadow Realm. Danzo thanks the snitch, files the grudge, and exits stage left, right into Bibinoke at a bar, failing spectacularly to flirt. He's salty the group survived. Thinks it'll be fun to take them down again, now that they're royal adjacent. But karma's got hands. Danzo pops up like a horror movie jump scare. Bibinoke eats himself into a sprint, but gets tripped by the informant's string trick. Lands. Danzo sword flexes and basically says, touch my friends again, and you'll be soup. Bibinoke melts into a puddle of cowardice. The informant's like, you should have ended him, and sends him off to be someone else's problem. She gets a pigeon DM from her boss and suddenly decides to check out Kurt's hometown. Cut to a new frozen-looking lady entering the scene. Foreshadowing unlocked. Flash forward. The squad returns to the build site expecting unfinished chaos, and boom. It's a whole dang mansion. Like luxury Pinterest board levels. Trees have fruit. Flowers are blooming. Someone check if he added cheat codes. Lisa Lott declares this is her future dream house. Yulishia slaps that down fast. It's an atelier, not a honeymoon suite. They step inside, and Kurt's all, sorry, I didn't have time to prep a welcome party. Buddy, you built a palace. You win. He gives the house tour. Water system powered by sapphire crystals? Check. Bread scented air? Probably. Bed stuffed with griffin feathers? Yeah, apparently. Lisa Lott says it smells like him. The others initiate a vibe check. Kurt points to the master's office and asks when the boss is showing up. Yulishia lies with a straight face. Then he says he'll sleep in the kitchen because he's just a cleaner. Entire squad screams in 17 languages. 2 hours of group convincing later, he finally agrees to temporarily use the atelier master's room. This boy is allergic to self-worth. Yulishia remembers Lisa Lott is basically a magnet for curses, so she pulls out talismans from her buddy Mimiko and sticks them all over the place, especially outside Lisa Lott's room. Princess thinks her mystery soulmate is finally making a move, flings open the door, just Yulishia. Mutual disappointment ensues. Next morning, Lisa Lott's got her flirty cosplay on, catching Kurt mid-breakfast prep. Yulishia walks in. Cue another disappointment. The rest of the team wakes to the scent of fresh bread and brewed tea. They feast like royalty. Except Kurt's missing. Yulishia finds him outside scrubbing off all her talismans, every single one. She sprints over, but it's too late. Kurt has successfully removed all of them except one, which he's halfway through wiping. Talismans that Mimiko said were uncleanable. Well, she panics, makes up a story about random graffiti goblins. Kurt believes her instantly. Now she has to figure out how to keep Lisa Lott from getting cursed again. Couple of days go by since the drama drop, and shocker, nobody's tried to unalive Lise again. Alicia's stress levels finally clock out for a break. The princess looks fresh as ever, even though Kurt eats had the anti-curse glyphs like they were expired coupons. Alicia's not sure if it's cause the bad guys don't know her location, or if Kurt's cooking got that Michelin star reverse curse seasoning. Man's out here chefing up divine protection with side dishes. Also, Mimiko pulled up in the city, dropped her spy network like Wi-Fi hotspots, and now everyone's chilling, for now. Then Yulishia taste tests one of Kurt's cakes, and goes feral. Taste buds straight up ascend. Lise joins the praise circle too. Turns out it's made with rice flour. Rice supremacy wins again. She claps back to the time his rice porridge banished a whole curse like it was a pop-up ad. She's like, yo chef, do that again if I ever get cursed. Kurt hits her with the nah fam. Says curses are cancelled permanently. Yulishia squints at that confidence like, you sure about that? Especially since dude said making curse barriers was hard mode. Kurt then drops lore. Turns out making a curse barrier inside another barrier is like trying to fold a fitted sheet. Pointless and cursed. The whole building is already a mega anti-curse dome that reflects evil like a TikTok filter. So instead, he just tweaked the settings a bit. You know, casual divine architecture stuff. Yulishia nopes out to go tell Mimiko the tea. Meanwhile, Kurt asks Lise if she wants to hit up the shops with him. Lise visibly malfunctions because she wants to, but also can't leave the anti-curse bubble wrap that is their house. Elsewhere, General O'Reed and his assistant are strolling along the city walls like it's casual Friday, but they're eyeing a suspicious fog that screams boss fight incoming. The general's sixth sense is screaming. Assistant dude tells him to chill. Walls are Gucci. He even supervised the repairs himself, flexing those project manager stats. General replies he just wanted to make sure there weren't any SUS NPCs sneaking and sabotage quests. Meanwhile, Mimiko, Ophelia, and Yulishia stumble upon a corpse glowing like a cursed Christmas tree. Mimiko says he was DOA when her spy network found him. Ophelia, always ready to spill lore, says Kurt's barrier tech is so cracked, it still slaps even after the target's been deleted. She says if Kurt fully tagged in, this whole mess could be one-day delivery fixed. Yulishia ain't vibing with that. She doesn't want to yeet Kurt into danger. Then, like bad plot timing, the city alarms start screeching. Skeleton army incoming. General O'Reed goes panic mode but snaps back, rallying troops while telling his assistant to evac the civilians. Then plot twist, the skeletons just walk straight into the wall like they're in a glitchy horror game and poof, vanished. Whole squad's confused. Yulishia gets the report via her info squad. She puts 2 and 2 together and realizes the cursed critters are getting Thanos snapped by the part of the wall Kurt patched. First wave gone, but the undead Uber XL is still on the way. Behind the chaos is Marlophus. Yes, that ex-party healer, exiled after their squad leader got jail time. She tried defending herself, but the chunky bishop hit her with the "you dishonor the church" line and then, plot twist, offered her a cursed wine and a redemption arc. Big mistake. Wine was literally cursed. Now she's basically water-only diet until Lise is 6 feet under. She signs up, thinking she's serving holy justice. Fast forward, Turns out Mr. Bishop made a backdoor deal with a demon. Classic betrayal DLC. But she's already locked in. No takebacks. Now the demon's draining her mana like it's gym protein powder, fueling more skeleton summons. Lise realizes she's been yeeted into a sacrificial setup. Next day, Elisha gives Kurt and Lise the undead update. Skeletons came from the ruins. Wall said nope and purged imp. Kurt drops a duh. In his village, skeletons touching walls is like garlic to vampires. Elisha doesn't even blink. She just remembers Kurt only fixed a third of the wall. The rest is still tissue paper. She cooks up a plan. Tells Kurt and Lise to stay indoors. She's going full monster exterminator arc. Kurt tries to tag along. Elisha hits him with the "you can't even fight" card. His job's protecting Lise. End of discussion. She grabs Kurt's magic crystals, aka cursed monster Roombas, and leaves. She then hauls Mimico and Ophelia over to the Knight's barracks where General Ulrich is deep in defense spreadsheets. He's surprised by the sudden celebrity guest lineup. Elisha skips the pleasantries, says they're here to keep Lise alive. Plan's simple. Distract the monsters, open a path to the ruins, eliminate the source. Ulrich's like, bruh, that's risky. Elisha flashes the crystals like a gamer showing off legendary loot. He agrees, but insists on co-op mode, leaves defense to his deputy and rides out with Elisha. At the gates, it's a full undead parade. Elisha tells the squad to close their eyes. Yeets a magic crystal. Boom. Area cleared like a bug fix. Even she's surprised. No time to process. She and Ulrich charge into the ruins, no breaks. Back at the crafting bench, Kurt spiraling, wants to help but doesn't know how. He remembers a Gigachad blacksmith from his village and decides to try forging a sword. It's mid, and he's about to rage quit when Lise walks in. She sees the blade. Kurt says it didn't come out great, but it's got magic sauce. Hold it up and boom, spell activated. Lise is all hard eyes for the sword. Kurt gifts it to her, but he's sus. Thinks she's just pretending to be fine when she's scared 24/7. He finally asks if someone's actually out for her blood. Lise confirms. Yep, she's the main course on some cultist's sacrifice menu. She feels bad dragging her friends into it. Says Elisha went to the ruins to handle it. Kurt suddenly has a brain blast. Remembers those ruins from a trip with his old squad. It was a graffiti hotspot. He starts connecting the cursed dots. Maybe the graffiti monster is the real villain. Dude's having an existential crisis. Can't believe he's too weak to fight literal scribbles. Lise, meanwhile, wants to get proactive. Doesn't want others to risk it all for her. Kurt relates. Both feel kinda useless. But then, lightbulb moment. He says they should go and clap the monster themselves. Lise is hesitant. Cities swarmed from every angle. Kurt, though, is in full "we'll find a way" anime protagonist mode. Game on. Lisa decides she's gotta slay fashionably before she slays anything else, so she suits up like she's heading to a post-apocalyptic Met Gala. She peeks at the funky butter knife Kurt handed her earlier, remembering his little lore drop. Wave it overhead, get sparkly magic. So she does the OL anime pose with the blade and crickets. Nothing. Zilch. Kurt, who's already halfway out the door like they're late for brunch, tells her it's go time. But just as she spins around, boom, plot twist. Elsewhere, Elisha and Ulrich are deep in a zombie mosh pit, swinging steel and stress. It's monster soup out there. And even with the vice captain out there tanking like a legend, they're still getting ratioed. Alicia's mental CPU is screaming, "Find boss room, fast." But then, Ulrich gets clapped. She turns to help him, but surprise. A monster flash mob descends on her. She fumbles for a magic crystal like it's a healing potion in a speed run. But just before she gets wrecked, backup squad arrives. Cans and Danjo hit the battlefield like NPCs who read the script this time, mowing down the bad vibes. Cena, the designated lore dumper, casually confirms the monster rave is coming from underground. Elisha yeets a light crystal like it's a flashbang, nuking the immediate threat. Squad rolls out, ruins bound. Later, Elisha hands Ulrich a flask labeled herbal soup, but it heals like a Final Fantasy elixir. Dude's flabbergasted. Adventurers casually remind him, Kurt's cracked like that. But then the ruins barfs out another boss wave. Cans tells Elisha, "We got this," and jumps into the monster blender with Danjo. Elisha and Ulrich slip past the chaos and breach the dungeon. Cut to Merle. She's running on 2% battery and existential dread. She knows she'll be permadead if one more monster wave hits. Meanwhile, Demon Dude peeks at his minion status report and sees his goons getting vaporized by a magic crystal. Confused noises. Even Merle's like, "What mod is that?" Back in the ruins, Elisha and Ulrich find the monster spawner room. Elisha casually frisbees another magic crystal. Monsters go poof. She's still unsure if that was the root of the evil or just a side quest. Then, Demon Boss slides into the scene like the final act just dropped. Elisha gives him the OL. "You're the last save point. look, and charges. She combo breakers a crystal in midair, massive flash, but Mr. Infinite HP just shrugs it off. He tells her she almost did something scary if he didn't have cheat codes. Bullied takes a swing. Demon doesn't dodge. Doesn't need to. He's got Regan hacks on. Then he gives them a free cutscene. Look at your knights, struggling outside. But you feel dumb now. But Bullied, powered by anime morals, shouts that his squad ain't giving up. Demon tries to wrap it up with a villain flex and summons a raid tier monster. Elisha and Bullied interrupt him mid-monologue, rude. But Demon pops his own head back on like a Lego set and keeps going. Alicia is starting to feel it. Oh no, we're gonna lose dread. If the monsters break into the city, it's GG for the civilians. Demon feasts on her despair like it's gourmet. Meanwhile, Merle's in the summoning room feeling like expired bread. She's starving. Can't move. Can't undo the circle. Just wants to taste Kurt's home-cooked serotonin one more time. Then, she hears his voice. She thinks she's hallucinating. But no, plot armor activated. Kurt Kool-Aid mans through the floor. They both blink. You hear? You hear? Chaos. Lisa asks who the collapsed nun is, and Kurt goes, that's our healer. Or ex-healer. Probably ex-nun now, too. Merle confesses her sins, blames Bishop Tristan, but Kurt's too busy roasting her for turning the room into a summoning graffiti wall. Lisa connects the dots. It's the bishop who's been the DLC villain all along. Kurt rants. Lisa thanks him. Merle has no clue what these two NPCs are babbling about. Kurt's like, where's Elisha? She should have cleaned up by now. Merle points up. Kurt plans to meet her, tells Lisa to stay, but she's like, LOL no, and heads up with her shiny new knife. Merle's like, great. He just sent the princess to her doom with a smile. But Kurt grabs a mop like he's cleaning his sins and wipes the whole cursed circle in one go. Demon Lord? Feeling it. Suddenly, Demon can't tank anymore. His invincibility mod's been disabled. Elisha goes for a crystal attack, but Demon smacks it away and preps the you're dead now speech. Just then, dramatic zoom, Lisa enters. Everyone stares. Demon doesn't even wait and yeets his blade into her heart. Lisa drops. Alicia's panic meter explodes. Demon laughs. Thanks for doing my job, dummy. But plot twist, Lisa turns into light butterflies like it's an RPG cutscene. Everyone, EXE crashes. Then the real Lisa pops up behind them. Demon's jaw hits the floor. That was an illusion? Yup, knife tech, supreme grade. Demon tries again. Another illusion. Lisa, the real one, spawns near the magic crystal and shatters it. Demon screeches like his patch got nerfed. Kurt hears the unholy shriek from downstairs and just goes. Meanwhile, all the demon-spawned mobs start vanishing like they got Thanos snapped. Everyone breathes out. Elisha flips out at Lisa for risking her life. Lisa says sorry, but Alicia's like, in VM, you popped off. Bullied thanks her. Lisa tells him to quit acting like he's in a job interview. She promises rewards. Bullied's wish. Booze. Ocean-sized. Party time. Downstairs, Kurt finishes his magic mop arc. Merle's tummy growls. He hands her a rice ball. She's cursed, she's doomed, but she bites in anyway. Taste. God tier. Curse. Gone. She cries mid-chew. Realizes Kurt's been the team's secret guardian angel this whole time. Regret hits her like a truck. She says sorry. Kurt's like, lesson learned? Cool. Then Lisa and Elisha show up. But wait. Two spies jump in and nab Merle. She hopes Kurt will defend her, and he says he'll bring her favorite bread while she's in jail. Thanks, bro. Lisa and Kurt exchange goofy looks. Elisha stares, realizing she owes her life to these two sentient question marks. She grabs Kurt and says, let's bounce. Later that night party. Plates are full, mouths are busy. Kurt's stressing because he cooked, and nobody's talking. He thinks the food flopped, but Bullied reassures him. The silence is sacred. Food's too good for words. Kurt melts with relief. He thinks the construction site supervisor is just some chill dude, until he finds out he's actually the city's general. Plot twist number 92. Kurt's impressed. Says the city's vibe is nice because the general's cool. The general's assistant chimes in. He sucks at admin. Bonk. Silence via elbow. Suddenly, fireworks go off. Everyone's brains short-circuit from the beauty. Turns out Kurt made those too. Because why not? Bullied and his assistant notice their wounds are gone. Kurt just says, duh, healed by vibes. Check out these videos on screen and subscribe for more.